Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are tuned in to ALTTPR League for the ALTTPR League Season 3, Week 3, Match 2 between these teams. I'm Eudaimonistic, joined today by Karma. Karma, how you doing today?
How's it going? I'm doing good. And it's going to be a good game. Both these teams are top of the division standings for the Turtle Rock division for this week. Whoever wins will be taking the lead in the division for the week going into week 4. So that's always exciting.
And of course, both of us actually on Wgarrison's team here on the right, dark side of the Triforce, up against Grouchy Old Men represented by Lumaga, one of our crew mods actually. So it's kind of an interesting, awkward position for the two of us on the mic, but we will try to be as fair and impartial as we possibly can be. Looks like they're about to get started here. So Karma, tell us a little bit about this mode. This is casual boots, right?
Yeah, so this is casual boots. Casual boots is boot start, sword assured, standard opening. So you're going to see them do the escape sequence. But they do get to start with the sword and boots. We got 5-6 in the Light World both. I think that's Desert and Hera. And regular crystal over in Eastern. So that's always nice when you see 3 crystals in the Light World.
Yeah, as a runner, you love to see it just because you know that, those are going to be pretty easily accessible and it gives you a chance at a relatively fast seed. But Randomizer has its way of throwing a lot of strange things at us. But an interesting side note, because this is a standard start, this is one of the rare times you get to see some of the saw gear checks. As we do have rain state enabled, we will be going throughout the entire castle.
Yeah, and so far, we got some money, we got some bombs. Nothing big so far, but, 300 rupees right off the bat is really, really nice. I'm never sad to see a bunch of rupees right in the front.
Yeah, it feels kind of like comfort food at this point. You can do all of your Kakariko checks. You're well on your way to Zora. And even Palace of Darkness, you have insurance against that. So, great peace of mind for these two runners.
And I know a lot of people are used to farming bombs and escape, but Casual Boots is one of those modes you do not actually have to, because you can bonk the wall in the back to escape for the 3 items. So they don't even have to farm. They're just going to be going through this as quickly as possible.
And speaking of making things fast, we're already making our way through the first key guard of the game. The first blue guard taken down by a variety of strategies by runners. When you have a sword and boots, your options are actually kind of open. A lot of people resort to sword spins to try and knock it closer to the door in order to kind of get the key closer to where you need it to be. Little tiny frame optimization is definitely going to come into play in this race today.
Yeah, the amount of difference it is from knowing when to use boots and when not to use boots in this mode is really insane. It can add up to minutes. Ooh, and flute.
Perhaps that might mitigate some of the boots' importance. Of course, boots, as you mentioned, literally so many ways to save time with them. As an aside, for those of you out there who are trying to improve your boots' movement, a big thing to note is that if Link is going to go more than like 4.5 of his width, we'll call that one tile, in terms of distance, horizontally or vertically, you should be dashing instead in pretty much every situation. A little bit of a divergence here. We're going to see a 1-pot 4-slash from Wgarrison and almost an attempt at 8-slash, but Lumaga is going to opt to use a pod instead to be safe as he only has 1 heart remaining.
He's got to be careful, though. The ball and chain guard does deal a full heart of damage.
Yeah, so while it may have cost him some time, I think Lumaga made the right choice here. Much, much better not to die at this point, as that would take him all the way back to the entrance of the castle.
So, important note, do you like the south route better, or do you like the normal route that most people take?
Okay, so honestly, until I saw Casual Boots mode, played in Restream, I did not even realize it was faster to go south route. But yeah, it is actually faster to take this staircase. I do prefer it for its speed. It does heavily emphasize the cleanliness of your boots movement. So something I got to practice personally, but it's a great effect from both of these runners.
Oh yeah, because it's all about, 3 quick dashes? And you got to stop at the right point? And both of them were slightly off on a couple stops, but, overall, pretty smooth.
Yeah, and I'd say the big thing with boots movement, as you mentioned, stopping your movement at the right time. Traditionally, we would do that and accomplish that with usually a menu buffer would be a common way for people to stop when they need to be precise. Otherwise, you can use the like the perpendicular direction on the D-pad to kind of stop instantly. Stopping when you're facing a direction and not using a different movement, cardinal direction is actually very difficult. So stopping on a dime, kind of important when you have boots.
Yeah, if I had to choose one item, though, that I'd like to see in the back of Escape or on the way to CAC is going to be a bottle, just for the full clear of CAC in one run.
Yeah, the opportunity to do literally everything, awesome when you're in these runner shoes. So we'll see if we find a bottle along the way, or maybe in Kakariko proper. So far, that flute being the big deal. We really do have most of Kakariko available to us in terms of clearing.
Yeah, and flute makes routing really, really interesting, right? So, like, you've already got 2 checks up the mountain in Logic. You've got easier access to Ice Rock Cave and to Agina's Cave. Master Sword. And Bug Net.
Yo, and those bombs are great, too.
Oh, yeah, full stock of bombs. 3 was already enough, but having 10 is just peace of mind. Especially when we haven't seen many of the enemies dropping much.
Yeah, so this is some interesting items very early on. Casual boots, not necessarily known for being this loaded in the Escape. I mean, you can definitely get a lot. Was that a bonk off of the switch to activate it? I've never seen that.
That was a bonk pull. So normally you see the bonk pull over in the dam, and he might try for that too. But I don't think I've ever seen the sideways bonk pull. Oh, they didn't get the map.
Yeah, that's some heads-up gameplay there, because that's an extra, approximately 3 seconds saved. Now, of course, if you're an NMG runner, that's 3 seconds you would never give up, unless you're, not a coward, I guess.
Let's see if Lumaga realizes it. Lumaga realizes it as well. So that was 100% probably the map. I wasn't really paying attention to the item loadout, but it makes sense.
No, that's correct. It was the map.
Alright, we got 20 rupees in Bonk Rock, so Bonk Rock's not yielding us anything today. And do you like this choosing not to go north and check Lumberjack with boots?
Personally, not at all, but then again, it is definitely the conservative choice to check it. Like, I mean, you do that if you think, hey, this information might be critical to me some point in the race. You can check it later, and there are plenty of... Wow, that's 8 bombs.
That's what, tier 2? Yeah, he definitely took damage, so it's tier 2. We got Book and Mushroom Spot.
Adding even more to the efficiency of our potential routes. But so Lumaga here is going to get information that Wgarrison's not going to have potentially for quite a while. It could be nothing. It could be a whole lot of something. We'll find out here shortly.
Yeah, boots, rupee crabs are just single rupees, so we won't be seeing much of them, and just 50 rupees up on the Lumberjack ledge, so we won't be doing Aghanim one for that.
But I guess to answer your question better, I really don't like it in Kaz boots to skip that, because it's so fast to do with boots initially, that you really don't want to have that lingering in the back of your mind later. I prefer the information personally.
I don't think I like skipping it because he has Master Sword already. Because he's already got half of the Aga 1 equation.
Yeah, so I mean, if nothing else, Lumaga will not have to worry at all about thinking about Aghanim for the sake of the item. Then maybe Dark with a fairy and a tempered sword.
Okay, so we're getting front-loaded on attack items in the front of this seed.
Yeah, I gotta say, tempered in the first 10 minutes, an amazing feeling when you're racing. You just know that all of your combat is pretty much set for the seed. For the vast majority of enemies, at this point, we are going to be item locked in terms of certain bosses, but that's about it.
I'm interested to see what 3 dungeons we're going to have as pendant at this race at this point, because this could be a really quick seed depending.
My forecast is west side of the world, all the west ones.
There's flippers.
So once you see those flippers, though, I think you're hoping for the southern ones to be your pendant dungeons.
Well, I don't know, because if you're hoping for those, then you get flippers early on, which kind of points you in that direction, as maybe there's a piece of progression in the pendant, which you really don't want.
Fair point. So maybe I was right initially. West side probably favorable. But both of our runners going to check everything here. So, I mean, Wgarrison making his way over to the flute activation, actually, sub 10 minutes. That's fun.
Let's see. Give us T-Rock Meyer and Skull as the pendants.
Oh yeah, you want some fast, efficient checks.
Because given that they already have flippers, then we wouldn't need much more. We would need, you know, mirror, hookshot, and some of the normal stuff that you're looking for anyways. With flute, we're probably looking for mirror and mitts, and no matter what we're doing. For desert.
Yeah, so we currently don't have any kind of glove to work with. Of course, not uncommon to not have a glove yet walking through Kakariko. For the amount of things that we found already, certainly feels like we're already like mid-race. But just 10 minutes in, and we are nearly done with the village on Wgarrison's side. He has a bit of a hefty lead here in the village. I would chalk that up to a couple less bonks in the escape and not having a hairy situation with the ball and chain guard. But with that flute on the table, there's a lot of room for these two to go different directions and give and take advantages.
I think once he checks the south, I mean, you're gonna go south to the shore, to the South Shore. I'm wondering after that if maybe you even start over in Desert Nagina and check both checks there.
You know, it's considerably faster to do than normal, and on top of that, we can also see the ledge, which is great information to have.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be up to them. I know he's gonna check this flute away, and we'll just see where he flutes to. He's got choices, for sure. I don't think he'll choose the mountain right now because that's 2 checks. That'll be kind of last location. I do like South Shore, but I kind of want more money before I go there because they still need 500 for Zora. And that's going to be in logic with the flippers.
You know, something that Wgarrison might be considering is he didn't have a chance to check the bush crab, I don't believe, so he might be hoping that there's some money, and that's a mirror, wow.
That's an early mirror in the dam. So... Still interesting, we still haven't got anything for Dark World access, like, other than swords, we got nothing pulling us either way, and there's that bonk pull I was talking about for dam.
Yeah, that's an awesome piece of tech, and as you mentioned, very commonly seen in that scenario. I guess it's because I don't see a lot of boot starts that... wow.
Well, there's a piece of Dark World access, but still, we're still leaning on the Aga 1 side, sadly. I mean, it depends on what... Well, I guess it depends on what you think is sadly. As a runner, you never want to see Aga 1 if you can help it. But we're still a lot of checks from being forced that way. We're just missing lamp, as Math Girl's pointing out.
Well, of course, no surprise we find Moon Pearl this early in the race, of course. Always pearls before Dark World Swine. As I'm sure everyone knows with the randomizer, that's standard. But Mini Moldorm Cave, another opportunity for some more items. We're finding some chump change, I guess I would call it. But it is more towards Zora.
Yeah, sadly, it's not enough. He needed like a 50 or 100, really. I don't know if I would do the water checks right away. I might be tempted to go check something else, like Sawhawks calls it. And he's going to go do the desert checks.
Yeah, and Lumaga does have a little bit more rupees to work with, but not enough. It will put him closer to like the 450 range once he's checked this. So whether or not he considers trying to do like Ice Rod Cave or maybe extending this to hope for a little bit more rupees, you could, with the Moon Pearl, do a water walk and try and hedge your bets regarding... well, water walk will make it faster, but hedge your bets trying to check the waterfall cave.
Well, also we're hoping that one of them checks the stun prize, given we just found Blue Boomerang and Mini Moldorm. Because that can also yield a good amount of rupees.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes you do get a big 20 off of that, and even if it's 5, there are resettable enemies in the game.
Yeah, like this room would have been a good one to check it in, but if he checks it anywhere in here, it would be good. He might not remember he has Blue Boomerang yet, because he just got it fresh. But I do like doing the desert checks. We are getting Ice Rod as well from Lumaga Zen.
Yeah, this is a big moment. It's kind of like your 50-50 between this and Agina. I do like that Wgarrison's going desert because you can extend this into further, and we'll find some money, actually. Just a piece of heart and Ice Rod Cave, but the advantage for Wgarrison here is there's more opportunity to get those rupees. Lumaga is pretty close, though.
So given what we just saw, that means Big Key is on Torch. Because he found map and an item over on right side. Which means the last item is either unreachable on the boss, or it is in the Big Key chest. Or big chest, I guess. Big Key chest and big chest are 2 different things.
That is true. Lumaga getting taunted by the 20 rupees on the island in Lake Hylia, but we'll check all the way to the hobo. And maybe he has some riches for us today.
And he has 20, so this feels really, really bad.
Oh, no.
You're gonna go north towards Zora, and you're 20 short. So you really won't. Oh, he's not gonna go. Okay, I like this play then.
Yeah, I agree with it. You know, if you're not sure, and that was close too. Like the thing is that there are some rupees you can either get out of maybe potentially Agina. I mean, we don't know that yet. But you know, there's definitely some rupee pots that you can pick up in desert, and you're likely to find more along the way. Might as well go with the surefire thing. So we're gonna see a little bit of a baton toss, or I guess a handoff for high five, maybe. Is this a low five?
So did you catch what was in that last chest in desert? I didn't catch big chest.
That was another piece of heart. So these two are going to have a heart-to-heart conversation, actually, instead of a high five, and then part their separate ways.
So you're saying that the big chest was another piece of heart? So that means compass on the boss in the back?
You're counting better than I am, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, because I knew they found map and the 2 keys. So they hadn't found compass in an item. So big chest was an item, then the boss is compass.
So I guess in this situation, Wgarrison's hopes are to get Titan's Mitts in order to take the reverse entrance later with Fire and Glove. For now, though, Lumaga going to head up the mountain, it looks like?
Yeah, he's doing an out-of-logic check. It's okay, it's quick. With a sword, it's really quick. I don't mind it. It's probably not going to be the progression he needs, but it could be something that's hiding behind the lamp.
Yeah, the actual old man check itself, you know, this as you mentioned, excuse me, this as you mentioned is out of logic, but he can go all the way to Hera.
Alright, so now Wgarrison is going to do the Ice Red Cave into all of the water checks, because he did hit his 500 goal. After that, the only things left are what Lumaga's checking on the mountain that we haven't seen. We do get to go all the way into Hera, because we do have Mirror. And then we're missing Eastern Palace. Oh, and he fell off.
That's an unfortunate reality of the super speed state. As soon as you touch a ledge, you are jumping off of it. But Lumaga will definitely take the safe way around this time. It's interesting that, you know, Wgarrison will get the opportunity to do all of the water checks. A lot of people will forget sometimes that oh, that's a Bombos. You won't necessarily need a glove to get to Zora. You can, if you have flippers and logic, go to Zora that way. So Wgarrison will get some extra checks out of this.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to check as much as they can. And I see people saying no fire. Yeah, the no fire is worrying for Hera, but if it's fire locked, it's fire locked early. And then you don't have to worry about it until you do have a fire source. If it's not fire locked, then, you know, you get to clear a crystal dungeon and a 5/6 at that. So it doesn't make me feel bad at all to do that play. I think we might see Lumaga actually grab that 20 on top of spec. Normally you'd avoid a big 20 like that, but given he only needs 20 to hit 500 for Zora later.
And on top of that, it's guaranteed money to put you towards Palace of Darkness later if you end up putting off Zora either way. So, you know, I mean, it doesn't hurt to grab this. I would be very surprised to see him skip that.
Yeah, and the basement of Hera, to Math Girl's point, I mean, if there's something in there, I expect both runners are going to leave it and last location it later.
Well, there's some Southern Dark World and Thieves Town pendants. Looks like Swamp Palace is going to be our green pendant today.
You don't like seeing Thieves Town as a pendant, because that's your easily... Oh, got Hammer and Waterfall. Sorry, I had to take a little side note. But yeah, Thieves Town is such an easy dungeon to clear, you just do not usually like seeing that as a pendant.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm glad you interrupted me, though. That hammer, that's pretty big. So the, oh, and a bow on Ether.
Bow on Ether, which it means I'm glad Wgarrison didn't go ahead and dip Eastern, because that makes Eastern mostly clearable in logic. You can't get the Develop Big Key Chest, and you can't get the boss currently with their item pool. But that probably will change, and there's the lamp, that changes that. Eastern's full clearable. Also, Agina is now on full, or Aga 1 is full clearable.
Yeah, that lamp in the first chest of Hera, I mean, just the peace of mind knowing that you can do the basement here, which actually makes it not fire locked. I think Lumaga almost forgot there. Either that or he had his mirror still equipped and accidentally used it.
Well, I'm thinking he's debating. He's not going to Hera pot, so he's going to go. There's only one item It might have been worth it to Harapot, but I'm unsure.
Oh, you mean like come back later to do a faster clear?
Well, given that he doesn't have Hammer, I don't think he can make that play. And I think Wgarrison was walking up to the mountain and realized he had Flute.
Well, so, I mean, as commentators and his teammates, we're obviously elated to see Wgarrison, have the advantage of Hammer when he comes up to the mountain.
Okay.
We'll end up getting the bow, of course, as well.
But Harapot needs hook shot. They pointed that out, and that's true.
Yeah. I mean, that's no big deal, though, because, I mean, Lumaga will definitely... I mean, unless somehow Wgarrison pulled out a hook shot by skipping Hera and coming back, I mean, that's not going to be a time save versus, Wgarrison in this situation. So Lumaga probably correctly reading the situation, saying, hey, I don't have a hook shot. My opponent probably doesn't either. I've done everything I need to do. We'll end up hedging his bets against Zora.
Yeah, his worry is going to be hook shot in the Zora area or in Eastern, because he hasn't went either place yet.
But even then, I mean, it is a time save, but it's not so significant that you'd want to climb the mountain again to prevent this.
That's true. But it is a 5/6 crystal, CJ, so I'm not sure if he'll put it off. Being the 5/6 crystal is a big deal. That is 100% Aga 1 access, so but we're also only a glove away at this point. So we have Moon Pearl and we have Hammer, and we have full clearable Eastern with a whole right side clearable as well. So to me, I don't think they're gonna go to Aga 1 until they clear pretty much all they have, since so much is open.
Well, not only that, but I mean, with the right half of the mountain logically accessible to our knowledge, just finding one glove would make it so that you could do Eastern Palace of Darkness in one chain, and convenient to do it. So it'd be hard to fathom that they would do anything but full clear before they go to Aghanim 1 at this point.
See, so the second item was not Big Key Lock, so that was actually a big deal. So if Wgarrison actually Harapot, well, he can't Harapot, no hook shot, but if he chooses to wait and bail, but I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen all sorts of runners in this week in particular defy commentator expectations, so I mean, I'm not going to put anything past him. But I do feel like it is a safe bet to just do the dungeon, expect that your opponent's doing it, no time gained or lost.
And that is a good point. Like, Lumaga skipping the Hammer at first means he's going to have to come back to East Death Mountain or go Aga 1, so he's going to have a harder choice later.
Yeah, so I mean, as his teammate, I'm definitely very happy for Garrison's situation, but I think skipping Hera would be the mistake here.
Yeah, you definitely don't skip Hera. He might bail once he finds the early lamp in the basement, because he has so much right side access, but we'll see. He is going to go get Bow. He remembers he has Book.
Yeah, that's a bigger deal. Alright, looks like Lumaga's going to take this into Eastern. This is interesting.
Well, I actually like this play. He hasn't checked Saha's hut, and he hasn't checked Eastern. Eastern is full clearable for him.
Yeah, so between this and Zora, this does feel like the more secure play. Even though he does have the rupees, he doesn't need the Hammer to do anything here in Eastern. It doesn't really speed anything up anyway. And so his not knowing about it yet won't hurt him at all.
I'll be interested to see if he full clears this, or he's going back in. So I want to see what he does once he finds Small Key.
Ah.
Okay, he's going. Now,
nice.
Crystals and Pendants look correct.
Bit of an unintentional redirection here for Lumaga, unfortunately, finding his way into a one-tile spot under super speed. It's actually harder to do than it looks. So just kind of unfortunate, because he definitely didn't intend that.
And we got some tile dodging.
Man, if I could do that on purpose.
Choosing not to take the break.
I mean, he's been training hard for this moment. Can't let his BPM drop.
Alright, so first item in Eastern is some bombs. Not helpful yet. We still got 2 more items to go.
I'm very curious to see what's going to be here in Eastern. Given our logical access here, I would not be at all surprised to see a glove in here. Would be a very likely scenario.
I wouldn't either, but at the same point, I actually wouldn't be surprised at this point to see no glove that they have access to. And it to be an actual Aga seed.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like between this and the mountain, I can definitely see how this could turn into Agnum. It would be the no glove scenario, but I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised for us to see two of them.
Well, we're definitely going to see. We got Big Key in the second chest, which you're always happy that you don't have to do Vanilla Big Key, but you're probably going to do it for an item anyways. I mean, the only way he's not is if these next two chests are both the other two items, which would be a pretty nice Eastern. Yeah, Hammers in Waterfall Cave. And that means you're doing Vanilla Big Key. Now, well, he flipped off of it. I thought he flipped to the boomerang for a second. I thought we were going to see
right.
Stun Drop. And one of them may have checked Stun Drop and I just didn't realize it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it was actually really smart of him not to have it out anyway, because Stalfos you can do damage to with the blue boomerang. They don't stun, right? At least I think that's the case. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure. Maybe someone in chat actually knows that answer.
Alright, well, with Moldorm down, Wgarrison has a moment to consider his choices. Of course, you would just go east, though, in this scenario. We'll be able to do all of East Death Mountain.
You're going to go check your island, you're going to go check your Spiral Cave, and you're going to go check your Paradox. So you've got 8 items plus a 9th you can check, so that's not a bad quota.
What is this Dead Rock luck? He just had no issues at all when I think like everybody has issues with those Dead Rocks.
Sometimes you just get lucky with Dead Rocks. I mean, sometimes they get out of your way or they get over to the side just enough to not be a pest.
I have no doubt that later in the seed they'll pay him back.
Oh yeah, on his way up to GT he'll probably get blocked like 5 times.
Well, Lumaga definitely not stopping for anything, cruising his way through the rest of this. We saw a nice little cheeky indoors spin speed over by the big key room, which is nifty.
Yeah, again, I missed the Vanilla Big Key chest, so I don't know if that was the compass or map or the other item.
I believe it was the map. I didn't see anything else on the tracker, at least.
And Fred corroborated your evidence. He said hookshot stuns on boomerang does not.
Well, there you go. Link the pass randomizer or just vanilla 101.
Some bad luck on the red Igors over on Lumaga's side. Yeah, sometimes they just eat a shot, and it just seems like I know it's probably just shooting early, but they seem to do that to me a lot. And hook shot. And the glove. So Aga 1 not required. We got hook shot and glove on East Death Mountain.
That's a pretty big deal. Of course, Lumaga, as soon as he's done here, pretty much has Zora to look at, unless he really wants to go Aghanim. I really doubt he would do that in this scenario. He has the rupees, plenty of things to check. He did do out of sequence for the lake itself, or not out of sequence, he had flippers. But he did it with a water walk.
I like this. Garrison's going straight over to pod, full clearable, 5 items, just go get it done. This does kind of semi-orphan the pyramid and catfish until way later, but they may not be needed, so we'll see.
Well, you know, Wgarrison better find some rupees.
That is true, and I think he just realized he doesn't have enough either.
Big yikes situation for him there. Lumaga, in the meantime, going to get his hammer, so he's going to realize that this was on the table for him, which is unfortunate because, like, he really wanted to leave from Hobo. But the good news for Team Grouchy Old Men is that's going to put him back into the sequence that he needs to be in. He won't be able to, pair together Palace of Darkness with it. He's barely scraping enough rupees to do so. But Lumaga is in a position to kind of get back into the swing of things here.
So Wgarrison is going to leave. He didn't get rupees. The stun prize is a piece of heart. Useful for later if you need some health, but not useful right now when you need some money.
This is interesting. Okay, so we're going to see a Hype Cave check from Wgarrison. I wonder if Lumaga heads right over to Palace of Darkness.
Well, I mean, I'm sure Wgarrison will go right back to Palace once he gets money. He couldn't get anything to drop money for him.
Yeah, and we're seeing, of course, Lumaga head over to East Death Mountain because he needs the glove first. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how he starts his Dark World. Well, hopefully finding some cash here for Wgarrison. It'd be very embarrassing to have a Hype Cave that doesn't have money.
Well, we got both boomerangs, a heart container, another heart container, a piece of heart, and the green goo in a bottle.
All right, now that's the heart-to-heart conversation he was hoping to have with that NPC.
Yeah, so that's a lot of health in one Hype Cave.
Oh, and he remembers the pull, but unfortunately only has a tier 2 available to him. Taking that damage actually hurts him.
He could just transition the screen, come back, kill one enemy, and pull it again. But he chooses not to. He's going to go do Stumpy, K45, and probably Dig Game.
I like where his head's at. If you're short rupees at this point, this is kind of the smart way to go because you can end this with Dig Game where you, even if you get the item early, you can continue to dig for rupees and you will find enough.
And he got 50 off of Stumpy, but like I almost think from Hype Cave, given their item layout, I would have went and checked Bombo's tablet while I was over there, and then just ran up and pulled the rock and went up here.
Yeah, both options definitely viable. He's definitely not going to want that rupee now.
Well, him not doing Babalo's tablet now means that is going to be a heavily isolated check. The only time you would check that at this point would be with Swamp, and Swamp is green pendant.
Well, I suppose he could also do it with Smith Chain if you wanted to take advantage of his hook shot to try and move faster with the purple chest. I mean, you'd have to commit to walking the purple chest, but it's possible.
I don't think you're going to do that at this point. Not when you have Mirror Flute and you just did all the South Dark World checks.
Yo, but how often in a Kaz Boots seed do you see archery?
Yeah, he's just trying to farm up real quick. He's going to play probably twice. He's going to get enough rupees to do pod and both money checks.
Kind of impressed with his accuracy.
Yeah, he actually taught me this. It's kind of like a known. It's kind of like a known pattern. If you shoot when it's passing the second curtain, you'll pretty much hit it every time on the first couple of rounds. But you can only play a couple rounds and then leave.
Goes to show you how much I play retro and inverted.
Yeah, I think he learned that mainly for inverted, and he's rewarded with some rupees from Dig Game.
But that's one more check taken care of, so that's good for Wgarrison here in this situation. And in the meantime, Lumaga now has the ability to full clear all of Desert, so he will get the other 5-6 crystal, and given what we know regarding the glove, hammer, and all that, we'll likely follow up with Pyramid Fairy, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Puzzle. So this is Kaz Boots. You start with sword. You start with Assured Sword, so you start with one sword and boots. And with a standard opening, so escape's already full cleared. Most likely we have a death on the way to pod.
Psych. But that is one less safety for later, so that's an interesting thing for Palace of Darkness, as we don't have a lot of other safeties to work with. He does have a bug net, though, so Wgarrison can actually pick up more fairies on the right side if he really feels he needs them.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate we haven't found armor upgrades, and we're still kind of lowish health. We have 8 hearts, but 8 hearts Green Mail and Dark World doesn't really matter, because everything deals like 2+ hearts of damage here.
But I gotta say, though, Karma, I feel like Lumaga's play here really is the story of the divergence of this seed so far. I'm very curious to see what we're going to find at Pyramid Fairy. This feels very much like he's going right for that.
Which, actually, I like. So his plan is he's going to clear Desert. He cleared Harrow, right? He's going to go grab Hype Cave into Pyramid Fairy, Pyramid, and Pod.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You'd be able to loop all of those things together. You could, if you don't mind. Ooh, that's a nice rod. If you wanted to, you could even walk a little bit extra and grab a catfish to prevent that from being isolated later when you're up there. But, I mean, I think you'd probably do that, after pod, walk around the north side.
Yeah, so Ice Rod Hunt's dead, so that's always a good thing. Runners are going to feel really good about that. We still need Fire Rod. We might not have the right medallions. We need Canis Samaria, and we need Mitts.
Yo, I gotta say, Garrison's really showing off some nifty movement. I saw a double bonk to dodge a anti-fairy there, a good spot dodge against the berry in that hallway. He's really feeling himself, I can tell.
Yeah, he's been practicing a lot for this race. He's really been in his head about it and wanting to do well. So he's playing it. Oh, and then he misses a bomb.
Yeah, maybe the commentator, Chris. We gotta stop hyping him up.
Crystal-wise, full clears. We got Eastern Desert, Herapod, and that's it for now. We can also do Swamp as a pendant. We can do Thieves Town, and we cannot clear Ice yet because no Mitts.
Right. Otherwise, we would basically be all set for that.
Yeah, which is kind of scary when you can already say you can full clear 2 of the pendants and the seed. And the seed's been kind of nice so far.
Well, we'll see if that pattern holds, as Lumaga is going to be the first one into the Lamolus fight. This is, of course, one of the 5-6 crystals, the only one remaining if you're tuning in late, for Lumaga to check Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, we know he doesn't have... We know that Lamol doesn't have an item per se, but he is locking 2 items at Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, and being that it is a crystal, definitely valuable no matter what. So, doing this now, I mean, the only way you could improve this is if you were, I don't know, going from the back entrance with like, you know, mitts, but we don't know where those are yet.
I think he was just too far over, CJ. It looked like he was just like slightly too far left, and he was like dashing up the stairs and stuff.
Karma, of course, referencing a question in chat about why a bonk off of the stairs here on the right side of Palace of Darkness didn't work. Common thing that happens, just maybe a couple pixels too far to the left. Of course, you can abuse this with a Canis Samaria, do some pretty nifty things with the pegs above it, but that's a different story. I think it's actually race legal, the extended dash state. Alrighty, well, the back half of Palace of Darkness, as Lumaga does exactly what you were saying, Karma. He's going to head into Hype Cave and presumably the rest of the Pyramid Fairy route.
If I did the same thing he did and did Tower of Heron Desert, this would be the route I take. It makes sense. I mean, you get the most clears as fast as possible.
So far, Palace of Darkness not yielding much. Wgarrison not bothering to pick up any more rupees. You really don't need to, but I think I might have tried a little harder to align those.
Everyone hopes for Kane before Ice Palace per chat, but honestly, in this scene, we're hoping for no Ice Palace.
Yeah, I can definitely say with confidence that both runners would like to just avoid it.
Yeah, so Pod is not yielding much, so Lumaga could get a little bit of, we'll call an advantage here if something is behind the 5-6, because it could be a bit before Wgarrison goes to it. I think the best thing for Wgarrison, if there is something, would be the mitts. If the mitts were behind the 5-6, that would heavily limit the checks that he could do prior to going and full clearing desert.
Yeah, the one part about that would be really unfriendly would be just the fact that, you know, he'd have to go all the way back through desert. I mean, which is not that awful, but it's definitely more time consuming than just simply fluting over and mirroring.
Oh no, Ped's definitely not dead. Ped can be Fire Rod, a Medallion, Cane is not needed for any of those dungeons. Ped is very, very, very far from dead.
Very alive. Right.
First pyramid check is 20 rupees, and let's see what's in Pyramid Fairy, because this is actually a big deal right here.
Bombs and a silver arrows. So
that's going to be a big combat advantage on Lumaga's side, and Wgarrison may never get those now, unless he just can't find an item. An item would have to be in a really bad location, I think, for him to go after that at this point.
If I had to guess and forecast a scenario where Wgarrison does end up getting those, I think it might be in the pursuit of like a Fire Rod or a Cane, depending on how the rest of this transpires, because as you mentioned, there's really not a whole lot of other things that we're going to need to hit our go mode at this point. The silver's kind of coming most into effect for a couple of fights specifically. You know, the Vitreous fight, which we do require in this race, and Ganon himself. Depending on Ganon execution, may make more of a big deal or less of a big deal.
Also Pod, being able to one-shot him after tearing his helmet off is pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you aren't feeling, amazing about your health, your safeties, your hammer hits, definitely a good feeling. And speaking of those things, Wgarrison has to be pretty careful here with 5 hearts to work with on Greenmail with Helmasaur King. Should be all right, all things considered, but definitely has to take the fight with some care.
Yeah, so he's going to do Tempered and Hammer. So for anyone who's not familiar with the fight, take 17 hits to knock off the mask. And it'll take 4 swipes with the Tempered Sword to put Helmasaur down.
Well, the RNG is good. Helmasaur heading right towards him, giving him better favorable knockback. You
Also
never
the
want to
Tail
see a
Whip.
spark in that.
Also the Tail Whip versus the Fireball.
Unfortunately, a little bit too early to despawn the Fireball, but dodged it just fine. Doesn't get a second one, so that's a smooth, damageless fight.
And Catfish is completely dead. And we've got... So Lumaga is prioritizing Dark World, Overworld, and it's because of money, right? So he also
Makes
did not
sense.
have the money. So he... Oh, he can't go in that way.
He has the money, though.
Yeah, he just got the 20 off of that. So let's see. Does he? Yeah, he's gonna go do Graveyard Ledge, and he's gonna go do King's Tomb.
Now, I really like this because, I mean, this is just a non-stop sequence of checks that are, going to push him closer and closer to where he needs to be. You kind of want to find that Fire Rod along the path to Skull Woods, since you got to clear it anyway. Just more convenient that, you hedge your bets and maybe, hey, it's in this exact path.
I know if I was running this seed, I would already be thinking the first 4 of Thieves Town are definitely going to be in play for me. With Mirror, I think I would 100% dip in there and at least grab first 4. Going to the back, though, we'll see what they find. If they find something prior, might change it up a little bit. But as of right now, I 100% would check first 4, missing, 4 items.
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same page with you on that front. No Fire Rod yet. We did find an Ice Rod in Palace of Darkness, which Lumaga might actually be quite a while away from, unless he decides to head back. He is fluting away from the King's Tomb, and is heading over there. Okay.
Yeah, so he's gonna go do Pod, which is fine. The only thing in there completely was Ice Rod, so not gonna be rewarded too much, but gonna clear this area, not have to come back. He's full cleared Pyramid, Pyramid Fairy, and Catfish, so this entire area is gone.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with the choice on that front. I was just very surprised to see him head back this direction, being so close to the village. But, I mean, fluting over here is faster than trying to take a portal around on 3. And if you're going to be doing this, you may as well be done with it.
Yeah, and I think it all hinged on him grabbing that 20, right? If he hadn't grabbed that 20, he would have kept going.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. That's a good point. He didn't have the ability to do this before, so the route was able to dovetail back. So maybe this was originally his intention, really, that he wanted to be doing Palace of Darkness before heading north, but due to the not having the entrance fee, decided to sneak around back for a backstage pass.
And yes, CJ, they got that access with that hook shot on the mountain, and that's a very, very scary access to have full. And CJ's mentioning Swamp Palace in chat. Swamp is full clearable already. And both of them are going to dodge it as long as they can, but it is green pendant 6 items. So it's hard to dodge it when it's full clearable.
The thing is like, I think at this point it becomes a matter of convenience, when's the best time to be in the area? And then as you mentioned before, the option to check the Bombos tablet, you would probably dovetail that check along with it. But I think both runners would probably rather have, well, I don't know, I think Wgarrison does like a bomb diver down, right?
Yeah, he knows both.
And I'm sure Lumaga does too. I mean, I've seen Lumaga do a diver down before. So I don't think they're avoiding it on that merit, but they definitely don't want to have to do it. It's a slow dungeon, even with the newer skips.
Yeah, so right now I actually don't think either one of them has a pure advantage. I mean, yeah, we've got silvers on Lumaga's side, but I think we've got slightly better dungeon clearing and routing from Wgarrison's side so far. So we'll see what it ends up being.
I would say the biggest thing for Wgarrison so far is the one trip up the mountain instead of having to come back up for East Death Mountain. That would be the largest routing advantage we've seen so far.
Yeah, and then getting to combo pod into Eastern's always nice.
Ooh, boy, Lumaga almost not clearing the edge, getting a funny reverse direction hop, which is only possible if you're on like the farthest possible pixel, which you don't see that often, but definitely a good presence of mind to avoid falling back down.
I mean, I agree with you, CJ. And Puzzle, yes, the only thing that he'll have orphaned over here is the green pendant if he chooses to get it. And for CJ, yeah, Swamp is just calling in the seed, and you know it is. You don't want it to be. As a runner, you just hate seeing that you can full clear it, especially as a pendant. But it's screaming at you, this seed, right now.
Now, the other alternative on the table is, doing a quick, run through a village of outcasts. Maybe you luck into that fire rod and gives you a chance to do Skull Woods. Scenarios like that aren't unimaginable. So I wouldn't fault either runner for going either direction. And it looks like Wgarrison is going to go that route. Remains to be seen. I mean, the fire rod could be in here. It could be Village of Outcasts. Could even be Ice Palace. We're still waiting on Mitts to figure that out.
All right, so checks we don't have between both runners yet. We don't have anything in Village of Outcasts, including Thieves Town Swamp. We also didn't get to see Bumper Ledge because he fluted away before he made it that far on Lumaga's side. We don't have Swamp. And then I think that's it for the in-logic checks, honestly, and Bombo's Tablet.
Yeah, so despite the item count, don't be deceived, Chad. There is still a lot of unexplored Hyrule and Dark World. We'll see Lumaga get his way through the rest of Palace of Darkness here as Wgarrison makes his first stop, apparently, into Skull Woods. An interesting decision. He's treating it like Overworld since he doesn't have that fire rod. Yeah,
you check the front. I don't know if you go to the mid, but you definitely check these front chests. The way we play, we do talk about it being overworld checks, and that key right there proves the point. You get to go just in a circle right here, clear as much of this front as you can. If you find one or two items, you're great. If you don't find either item, okay, they're fire rod locked for the most part.
I think I'm more inclined to check the middle chest, though, if I have the Cane of Samaria. In this situation, without the fire rod, I don't know about doing that.
Yeah, it might change depending on what he finds. So far we found 3 keys. That gives us absolutely nothing, really. No knowledge. Ooh.
That was a really weird screen scroll.
Yeah, he got, grabbed and knocked back at the same time. I don't know if I've seen that one.
Well, the good news, didn't end up doing any weird game breaky glitches. I know the Floor Masters definitely have some really weird stuff going on with them, code-wise. All right, well, attempt number 2 at Pinball. Not quite the bumper he was hoping to get to avoid a tilt there. We'll end up leaving the dungeon, having lost his last ball.
I think he does go check the mid chest at this point because he found absolutely nothing. So he found 3 keys and a dungeon item. So this is either going to be big key, the other dungeon item, or one of the 2 items in the dungeon.
Essentially a 50-50 chance of something.
Yeah, and I like going for it now.
Well, this does afford Lumaga a little more time to catch up in terms of Palace of Darkness. Both runners will be at 4 crystals. Or no, I'm sorry. Lumaga will be at 4 crystals to have an advantage over Wgarrison so far in total dungeons.
So both items inside of Skull are fire rod locked.
That's useful information, too. I mean, it's not going to be the mitts unless the fire rod's somewhere in your near path.
And not worried about the pedestal yet because ped's not in play until mitts are found. He's gonna go check north side. I know Wgarrison. He came out of Skull. He's at least gonna check Bumper Ledge, and he might go check the other 2 checks. And he's gonna go check Lumberjack Ways up here too.
Yeah, this would be the one time you'd go do it if you hadn't already.
Quadrant glitch. I may have had one of those in a race. Accidentally in T-Rock.
Yeah, it's a very unsettling experience. The cool thing here about randomizer is a lot of weird scenarios that kind of soft lock somebody or even hard lock somebody are patched out to a degree. Like you can mess up your fake flippers leaving Hobo, for example, and the game will at least eventually place it back on the screen. instead of the infinite screen scroll glitch that you could get otherwise, or the game will just kill you. But that is a use of silver arrows here from Lumaga to make the fight a little faster here against Helmasaur King, and that puts him at his first crystal advantage of the seed, I believe. Unless did he finish Terra third?
Yeah, he's finished Terra first. He was up.
Yeah, so his second crystal will lead to the seed, 4-3.
And just because chat was talking about quadrant glitches and Mathker was talking about it, I think there's a VOD. I think it was during my open race that happened.
But in a nutshell, it's some weirdness with large super tiles. You know, if you're in a place where things load incorrectly.
Yeah, it just transported me backwards and started dumping me in the big pit in the TR first room.
But now that we've finished Palace of Darkness for Lumaga's side, it looks like we're going to see that Village of Outcasts check, so a little bit of divergence here. I'm wondering if Wgarrison's going to make his way all the way over to Catfish and terminate his route there, and then make his way back over west, or consider the swamp play.
Well, I mean, he still hasn't done Pyramid or Catfish. He could just leave them till later, knowing that he eventually will go back if he finds the goes and does Pyramid Fairy. But now he is heading that way to go over and do Catfish now, which is not a bad play. I think I do this more times than not if I'm doing North Dark World checks, and I haven't done that yet. It's just kind of awkward. He is leaving Pyramid for so long, but again, he'll check it if he ever comes back and does Pyramid Fairy.
Well, I will say that as Wgarrison's teammate, I'm very happy to see Lumaga here in Skullwoods. We know this is pretty much junk, so time earned back for Wgarrison, which is nice for us to see at least.
Well, they're both just doing checks that they're done at this point, so they're evening up on checks. So it's going to come down to more of an execution race towards the end, minus silver arrows.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that if there's any reason Wgarrison ends up at the pyramid at all, the silvers won't end up meaning a whole lot in terms of overall time. But it's going to take some better routing overall for Wgarrison to make up the difference in silver Ganon. That is at least half a minute to a minute, depending on your execution minimum.
Yeah, so I think the big deal is going to come with he's probably going to clear desert on his way over if swamp is where the next item is, which is more and more likely as we're going. Because right now it's either Pendant Thieves or Pendant Swamp, plus VOO. So we don't got much more to check. And given that knowledge, it's more likely that he probably does desert before stopping in swamp, because it would be a prime time to do Pyramid Fairy. Right after swamp if swamp's empty.
Yeah, I agree with that. So we're going to get our first look at the Village of Outcasts from Wgarrison, actually, contrary to what I was expecting. Lumaga will continue on to the middle chest. I have to imagine he likely walks his way back out. If not, then you can expect him to probably be heading towards swamp. Oh, he's got to watch himself with these Gibdos. Well, that will be the depletion of his one fairy, so that is his only remaining safety. Of course, can gather more. I think we ended up getting a green potion, was that? Or did we get two of those?
We have one green potion and two fairy in the bottles.
Okay, so both runners still have one fairy left then.
Yeah, because they've actually got 4 potions. I don't even know what was in the 4th potion. I don't even remember seeing it. I remember one was on Helmasaur, that was a fairy in a bottle. One was in Cac, that was also a fairy in a bottle. And back at Hype Crave was a green pod. We got Ether and VOO. Lessens our chance of needing any extra medallions, but doesn't help us.
Yeah, not yet at least. I believe the blue potion that Wgarrison has is he bought. He did just do that right on the way to Catfish.
Thieves sounds dependent. He's gonna check it. I assume he's gonna check the minimum first for. It's just gonna be what his gut feels. Now, this is a big from Lumaga. Lumaga's gonna go ahead and nope if Ped's in play. And it is not. Ped is dead.
But because of, what we know about, Wgarrison having done everything he could do in Skull Woods, Wgarrison might... Ooh, wow, that's gain. He may consider trying to get the pendants and may do more than he needs to, thinking that maybe, he needs to hedge his bets against the pedestal.
Yeah, I think so. That cane is interesting. That cane doesn't still open anything. We're still midst locked essentially. We're midst and fire rod locked. I actually wouldn't. The items you want to see at this point is you want to see fire rod first, and mitts in the back of Skullwoods is your go mode. Yeah, Math Girl did call it mitts go mode, and that's what you want to see. If they find mitts first, that puts fire rod in so many more locations that can be really, really nasty.
Well, it looks like Wgarrison will continue onwards here in Thieves Town. He does have the mirror to rapidly escape if he wants to, so I think he believes in the power of that cane. He can do it, apparently.
Yeah, is it only one? Yeah, it's 3 items. That's what I thought I saw too, CJ. I would bell too. He found 3 items in the front, one being the cane. I would 100% bell.
Well, it's an interesting choice. Maybe if he had seen the pedestal, he may have made a different choice here. I mean, it could just be the fire rod. You know, we might all be wrong.
Yeah, and that's definitely a gamble. But I think I agree with CJ. And I'd be surprised if he doesn't, and he missed the pixel. He was slightly too far right. But if he doesn't bell when finding the 4th item, unless the 4th item's on blind, then I'm going to be heavily surprised.
Yeah, that would be the misplay here. But I mean, the thing is, though, is like in his perspective, if he hasn't seen the pedestal, you know, it feels real bad to leave the boss when you've made it all the way to basically the last, item.
Yeah, and it might even be just clear it. I'm not sure. I think you find the 4th item, and that's where the debate's going to happen.
Yeah, because I mean, if it's all the way in the big chest versus like the cell, if it was here in the attic, I think you have to leave. But it's tough. I mean, I've definitely been in his shoes where I'm, willing to take the time to finish a pretty fast boss, just to be sure. But I think you're right, though. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Lumaga bail. Maybe, I mean, I do know that Lumaga's a bit of a thorough checker, so I wouldn't be necessarily surprised to see him finish the dungeon, but I do think, oh, that's pretty cool, Bunny Sprite. I do think he would be the sort of person to, consider, that last item.
Yeah, and like his decision point is going to be right here. So he's going to find this 3rd item, and we're going to see what his option is. And he's not mirroring either.
Well, that's big for Wgarrison, or potentially bad for Wgarrison. We'll see if the last item's something important.
Well, that being the small key, he has to now check big. So this just got deeper rabbit hole.
Getting bullied by a Zazax here, chased all the way down the hallway.
Yeah, he's really low health on Green Melt. This is kind of dangerous. He does have a fairy though, and he does know stun prize his heart, so he's using that a lot right now.
The double heal off the hook shot, dude. I love game knowledge. So for those of you who don't know, you can get a frame rule when you pick up hearts with boomerang or hook shot, and that can give you sometimes 2 hearts. It's pretty nice.
The last item is all the way on blind.
Yeah, so I mean, this could be nothing. It could be great. We're gonna see a blind fight today. That's fun.
If this is Fire Rod and the Mitzer and back of Skullwoods, this is huge for both players.
Yeah, that would be the Galaxy Brain move. Either way, I mean, I personally agree with the choice, but I could definitely see everyone else being like, hey, what the heck are you doing here?
Well, CJ's doing that right now, and don't you hate Swamp, CJ? I think everybody hates Swamp. Especially Pendant Swamp.
Well, a little bit off script so far, but Blind hasn't crossed the room, which is definitely very good for a first attempt blind fight. Gotta watch our health here, and it looks like he's got it.
Yeah, he got it. He had a fairy still in backup.
Yeah, you just never want to spend the time, but that is a piece of heart. That's rough.
Well, it's good for Wgarrison. Lumaga's also full clearing. So, I mean, if Lumaga had left first 4, it would be a way bigger time loss. But since Lumaga's also full clearing it, they're pretty much still on equal ground, minus Desert and Silvers.
So here's the thing to consider is Lumaga not far behind Wgarrison in terms of completing this dungeon. Wgarrison still needs to find some time to separate himself from Lumaga here to finish Desert. I don't know if he has enough time yet to do that. He's going to walk into Desert now.
He's doing exactly what I told you he's going to do. So he's going to go finish Desert, and then he's probably going to go into Swamp, and then go Pyramid if nothing's in Swamp.
But I think the question is like, what's Lumaga's next move? Because I think right now Garrison needs to have the steeplechase ahead of him in order to, kind of take an advantage in this seed. Right now, Lumaga has the crystal advantage on him, and if he starts Swamp first, that silver is going to start adding up on a couple of these bosses.
Yeah, and he's going to start Swamp first, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's down to Swamp, or pretty close to it. He hasn't done Stumpy K45 or Dig Game, has he?
That's correct. He hasn't done all of his mid-Dark World checks.
And then neither one of them's done Bombo's Tablet. So we still have Bombo's Tablet on the table too, which I'd called early. I was like, I would have done it with Hype Cave earlier, especially if you were going to go Stumpy side. What's left to check? We have the Bombo's Tablet, all of Swamp, and I think that's it.
Yeah, we're rapidly closing in on all of the things that we can do from what we know. Of course, Lumaga here in his blind fight, we'll see if his works as smoothly. And I know Lumaga's practiced NMG over the years, so currently looking at a pretty good fight. Maybe even, well, besides the last slash, pretty close to optimal.
So my question is, if the first item is mitts, do you keep going to check for Fire Rod and Swamp?
That's a big yikes.
You'd rather it be Fire Rod, but even then, if it's Fire Rod, do you still check?
Knowing myself, yes, but I don't consider that to necessarily be advisable.
Alright, so Lumaga's going to go finish up these checks. So Lumaga's route is literally going to go straight down into Swamp, which is nice. I'm just curious if he's going to do Bombo's Tablet prior.
I think it makes more sense and is more convenient from this direction.
Wgarrison trying to do the Ice Rod strats.
For what it's worth, that's a difficult thing to do because I think Ice Rod's just so much slower to the effect that, the fight's definitely not as automatic as, say, Fire Rod would be. Used all of his magic to do it, though. Definitely took advantage of it.
Yeah, so for everyone in chat, our last two items are Fire Rod and Mitts, barring Quake being needed, which we don't know because we haven't found Mitts. So we can't check either dungeon entrance for T-Rock or Meyer.
Well, this does represent an opportunity for Wgarrison to pretty much meet Lumaga at the Swamp entrance at this point. They're going to be very close to each other.
My question is he going to do Big Bomb before he does Swamp? Which I think he will, given how he plays.
There's definitely, arguments to be made in either direction. I think for the sake of density, it would be smart for Wgarrison to do Swamp, but it's not a bad idea to go to the
Okay,
bomb.
he is going Swamp.
So those silvers are potentially a faster fight for Argus.
I like this. They're both doing Bombos prior.
So this race has really truly become neck and neck. The one deciding, or I guess one distinguishing difference right now is silver arrows off of Big Bomb. So whether or not Wgarrison ever needs to check that due to lack of other stuff, we have synchronicity right now.
And that is nothing. So the item is in Swamp. We know that 100% at this point.
Did Lumaga just moonwalk backwards through the tablet?
Not sure. I kind of gazed away for a second.
Just some weird movement there. Mega Man does a floaty jump apparently, but
Wgarrison is. Ooh. Garrison's gonna go do Big Bomb first. So that means definite advantage to Lumaga.
Now, of course, the scenario that you were proposing earlier might end up being the relevant situation here, though. Let's just say that Lumaga finds Titan's Mitts or Fire Rod and decides to leave the dungeon. That would be a potential separation point between the two. Or if he completes the dungeon and it ends up being nothing and Wgarrison leaves the dungeon. So there's a couple scenarios here where this Swamp Palace play may end up not being as straightforward as we would assume. We do have the Cane of Samaria, so diver downs of all varieties around the table.
Yeah, so Lumaga's definitely first in, definitely going to be the first to the item. So we're going to see what the item is. If it's in this first chest, that's a really big do you keep going or not check. A shovel. I think you keep going with just shovel.
What, you're saying he's going to be able to dig something out of the rest of the dungeon?
I mean, there's 5 more items in here. I think you keep going. Now, left side, still question. Now Wgarrison knows the bad news. Wgarrison knows that Green Pendant Swamp has something. What would be even more gross is if it's not actually in the dungeon, if it's actually on Saha Green Pendant turn-in.
Yeah, that would be a very bad feel. So, I mean, I think in this situation, the further Lumaga gets into this dungeon, the more of the dungeon he's going to be willing to clear.
It's just whether he chooses left side before he goes back.
And I really think in this scenario, you're looking for 2 items. You definitely go left first.
Yeah, but he hasn't found a dungeon item yet. That's also one of those things that you usually try to avoid it if you haven't found either the map or the compass.
Yeah, so we'll see this bottom check here, and then if it's a big key, we'll at least see the big chest. But that'll be kind of the moment to decide.
If this is big key map or compass, I think you'll go left side. Oh, it's missed.
Ooh. And gut check moment. Lumaga's going to continue throughout the dungeon.
And he's going... Oh, no. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, this is seriously an important pivotal moment for any racer in this situation.
Well, they're still Fire Rod away. So if Fire Rod's in Swamp and he leaves it, that is such a big disadvantage.
Yeah, I don't fault him at all for, taking a moment to think about his circumstances. That is obviously, in my opinion, I think that's one of the hardest decisions to make right here.
I also like him going straight to the back.
Yeah, it definitely changes the math of this. You're looking for 1 item now. It's not that time intensive to come back, afterwards. The risk of leaving 2 items is no longer on the table. Although, maybe we need a Quake.
That is true. So you've now found, 3 items? And there's 3 more in the dungeon. Four items, there's 2 left.
Yeah, so we're going to get to find out from Lumaga through the Argus fight whether or not Wgarrison is, short 2 items or 1 item on the left side if he considers going left or leaving the dungeon or going right for the boss. Of course, there is, the green pendant item. Which I imagine at this point Lumaga is going to head right to after this.
And Shovel.
Yeah, weird one off.
Mitts gives so much access. The Mitts give them all Dark World. Every other dungeon is now accessible. Mire area, checkerboard. I mean, there is going to be a lot of checks available.
So, I mean, you went through all this effort to get the green pendant. Do you check it first then?
I mean, what other time does he have to check it? It's the only thing on that side of the map that he has left.
Because, I mean, I could see the argument for, hey, there's more dense things to do. But, I mean, you definitely don't want to climb the mountain twice if you can avoid it.
Yeah, Fire Rod can literally be anywhere now. It can be inside ice. It can be... Ooh, that was a very nice silver. I'm interested to see what Wgarrison does once he finds this right here. Because we know the back of the dungeon is not holding. It doesn't have the answer. And he mirrors out. He's gambling.
He's out of there.
He's gambling. This is either a really big play or a really bad play.
Because that's the thing. If green pendant ends up being nothing, if left side swamp doesn't... Well, even if left side swamp holds it...
That was an item. So there's only 1 item left side, right?
I believe that's correct. So, I mean... well, there's big key on the boss.
Now I'm interested to see where these 2 go from here, because it looks like Wgarrison's going straight for Mire, which is fine. I like this. And we Quake.
Oh boy. So here's the thing though, is both of them did not end up with the left side of swamp, so there's a decent chance that Quake or something like Fire Rod could be there. They may both full clear the world. Oh.
Fire Rod and Mire. Okay.
Ignore me.
We're missing Quake. So if Quake is on green pendant, huge advantage Lumaga. Probably almost game-winning advantage to Lumaga. If it's not, then this is a really, really tight race at this point.
Yeah, because Wgarrison leaving Swamp basically cut back all of the time that he had been trying to catch up from, the earlier Silvers check, from, basically being behind on that 1 crystal for a little bit, from double-dipping Desert. Lumaga's going to get his Fire Rod here.
Yeah, not checking green pendant yet, so we won't know if that's an advantage yet. The Wgarrison's going to go Dark World Death Mountain. I like. He can full clear T-Rock now. Still green Mel. We haven't found either Mel upgrade.
This has truly become neck and neck again, though. I mean, holy mackerel.
Yeah, if Garrison finds Quake up on the mountain right now, this is like big brain back-to-back plays. Just that leaving on the mitts is a big brain play if Quake is hidden up behind the mitts.
The thing, of course, is that to remember is that is a roll of the dice. You don't know until you know.
Yeah, and Kazed, I agree. I was just thinking that myself in my head. I would have done Skullwoods before I headed up the mountain because we didn't find either item in Skullwoods. They're both fire rod locked. And again, that's an advantage Lumaga's about to have because Lumaga's about to go find out.
Yeah, so I mean, while it doesn't hurt you to do Turtle Rock here, it is another mountain climb to get the GT later.
Well, it could be Quake, and if it's Quake, it's really bad.
Alternatively, you could find Quake up here, and that would significantly shorten the amount of other checks, possible. As there are other things that Lumaga can do thanks to those mitts.
And they're both Quake.
So a Quake here in Skull Woods would be devastating for Wgarrison, just because of the extra climb involved. It would really add to the separation that you would see from Lumaga and Wgarrison from the dungeon order from climbing.
Information is important, but Quake is in Super Money. Bailed out.
Huge.
Okay, he's in pure go mode, so do you check hookshot?
That's the thing is, this is kind of, if you do check hookshot, it is literally just for safeties at this point, for whatever's convenient, and he is going to head directly into Turtle Rock. I like this choice because you're making use of the climb.
Yeah, he just checked his bottle count, so that's what I was looking at. He checked his bottle count. Yeah, there could be he got grabbed as he fell in the pit.
That's 1.0. Oh, man, Lumaga, I'm sorry to see that. That is the most frustrating part about randomizer patch being on the 1.0 version, is that cannot happen on the 1.1 and 1.2 versions.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are looking for Mel upgrades. Would have been nice. We did not find them. Could be in Hookshot Cave. Lumaga needs to be careful with their magic.
Yeah, he's okay for now, but doesn't have any use of... Oh.
Never mind. Oh. Just walked right into that hand.
I think every single one of us can feel for Lumaga on that one. Who has not been in that position before?
Ooh, Powder, that's an awesome safety. Wgarrison's going to feel very, very much more comfortable at this point. He loves having Powder. So, minus a Mel upgrade, he's probably feeling great.
The thing about this scenario is, for how fast the seed is, for how available pretty much everything except for those last two items were, it's hard not to feel like your opponent's probably way ahead of you at this point, no matter how good you're playing this.
I don't know. So Lumaga's sitting there okay, well, I know I need Quake. I don't have Quake. And Wgarrison knows he's in go mode. So I don't know if Wgarrison feels like he's ahead or behind. I think it's kind of difficult to gauge that with the item layout, because I think last locationing mitts inside the swamp was big, but him immediately mirroring out was also really big.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. And both of them ended up kind of doing it in the same way, just with a couple of overlapping checks in different directions. But, Lumaga's going to spend the time to go under the bridge here, which is definitely a time sink. I think once you realize the Quake is up on Dark Death Mountain, heading up to Turtle Rock from here, that's when you start to feel behind. Wgarrison may feel more confident for that reason, kind of realizing, oh, hey, my go mode is super convenient to what I was doing. However, he does have to be careful with his health here.
Well, he does have Powder now, so he gets to powder this anti-fairy. And he has the fairy in a bottle, a blue goo in a bottle. I think he has a green goo in a bottle.
If I read this situation correctly, Lumaga found a dungeon item under the bridge, so he's going to use the big key to check the big chest. This is really unfortunate for him in this situation. He should be able to just do Mothula, but now he has this extra check he's got to do, which is not going to help him to catch up to Wgarrison from the remainder of the seed.
Yeah, I think Wgarrison has a bit of a lead, given that he's in go mode already, like halfway through T-Rock. But Lumaga can definitely catch up.
More than anything, I think this makes up for the mountain climb that Garrison's going to have to do. And then now that we know that Quake's up there, Lumaga is going to have to do that mountain climb anyway. So, yeah, I mean, I think this does give a definite edge to Wgarrison, and maybe about half a dungeon's worth, if I had to estimate. Unfortunate for Lumaga to head over to Bumper Cave as well. I mean, this is a normal good decision to make. He hasn't been over here yet. But more things that are kind of stacking up that aren't the mountain.
Yeah, you see Wgarrison just flying through, skipping everything that is not a dungeon chest. And if there is a key in Crystal Roller here in a second, we probably won't see Laser Bridge either.
All right,
and
so
I think there has to be a key, because he stole the key from the Pokey, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah, so I think this has to be a key. So there's going to be probably no Laser Bridge.
So I'm wondering what we can find here on Green Pendant that would be valuable to Lumaga. Maybe a mail upgrade?
How about Mirror Shield?
You know, I mean, it's not bad. It's not great either. The one nice thing, though, is that would give him a little bit more insurance for the Laser Bridge if he ends up needing a key. He doesn't need a key, though, right, if you steal it?
Yeah, he already stole a key, so he's already got the key he needs. So it's up to him if he wants to check Laser Bridge in this case. I don't think he will, but he may go there for the safety, so he may check it anyways. No, he's going straight there. He's proving me wrong. I thought he might go there for the safety door.
Yeah, so with that Mirror Shield, Lumaga may consider it, but I doubt in this scenario, knowing that he's going to have go mode, by the time that he finds that Quake, that he cares about that Mirror Shield. He's going to feel like that was a big waste to be in Swamp for that long. That's unfortunate.
I know, but I know, chat, but given Garrison's mindset, me and him have talked about this many times, he's very on taking safety doors in matchups, just because it's worse to take the death than it is to lose a few seconds going and opening the door and going out.
Well, I'd argue that's the same philosophy with NMG as well, for those of you out there who are considering picking up the speed run. It's like, yeah, it's a minute or so, maybe a minute and a half to pick up powder, but it saves you, because like walking through an entire dungeon twice, much, much slower. So like a safety door, same principle. If you're going to die, you may as well be close to the boss.
Yeah, and we'll be able to talk to Wgarrison about it, and Lumaga's hitting go mode right here. But we'll talk to Wgarrison about it in interviews. But yeah, I know his mindset. We are teammates. He talks about it a lot. Like, he's very big into taking safeties and safety doors. And there's a blue mail. Now he feels super comfortable. I don't think he's going to overcheck anything anymore.
Well, that's good news for both runners. They are well equipped in terms of combat, but this does help them prevent some of those, potential deaths. Wgarrison getting through with no major issues against Trinex, definitely an important part of the seed for him. Now, GT could be the equalizer. We do, of course, have Misery Meyer first and the Trinex fight. But I think between the routing there and I think Lumaga probably shines pretty well in GT. That could end up being the important factor of this race.
Well, Garrison's definitely ahead. He's ahead a whole dungeon at this point. And that comes down to the full clear of Swamp, right? So that whole dungeon, there's no item advantages either way. So you've got, what, T-Rock takes approximately 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
I'd say T-Rock probably takes about 4 or 5.
Okay, so that's about how far he is ahead right now then.
That being said, though...
Oh, Skull, yeah, he still has to do Skull. So he does have to walk back and kill Moth.
And Misery Meyer can be a very slow dungeon depending on the layout, and you can guess correctly to get to a big key faster than your opponent.
The difference in Skull, though, is he's just going to do the Moth, and he's not going to check all the other checks that Lumaga did.
Yeah, that's definitely a big deal, being able to, because he already did his exploration earlier, and there's no reason he's going to go back for that big chest. So that's definitely a huge advantage for Wgarrison in this situation. Remains to be seen where we're going to find this big key. If it's a Godmire, it'd be very hard for Wgarrison to give up any time here.
And if you're wondering what we're talking about Godmire, there's 2 chests over here on the right that are really fast. If either one of these is the big key, we call that a Godmire.
Yep, the best possible scenario in which you can pretty much go right to the boss. Ooh, boy, Lumaga, watch yourself. That's down to 1 heart.
Still has a fairy in a bottle, so is not a Godmire. We are gonna go probably left side. I don't know what his check routing is. For me, I know I do lobby chest into fire rod, the two firelock chests, and then I go do the right side.
And I would say that's definitely the most common route.
He is not. He didn't hit Crystal Switch either, which I'm kind of afraid. But he might do North Room into... He might last location cutscene. But yeah, you kind of got to hit the switch, Garrett.
Bit of a rough minor misstep. No big deal, though. He has not powdered yet, which I presume means he's probably going to try the spooky action glitch later, if he can. Remains to be seen, but... Torches haven't been done in the top room. We'll head on to the cutscene chest as we see Lumaga making his way towards the lava room, tearing his way through Turtle Rock. Of course, he can steal a key as well, and has nothing else he needs to do in here, so just a couple of minutes away from being done with this dungeon.
Yeah, he's going over here. He still has a lobby, and he still has the chest beside the big key. I actually think the chest beside the big key is even more rude than cutscene chest. Ooh, Lumaga taking a death. Does still have a fairy, though, I'm pretty sure.
So I believe chat's informing us of a logical quirk here in Misery Mire. Because of the 3 small keys found in their configuration, I believe this has to be the big key.
Okay, I actually didn't know that. I don't keep up with key logic that much, so that's actually a really big deal then.
From what I understand, it's because the worst possible configuration of keys would force you to have a big key to progress in the dungeon here.
Oh, okay. They're saying that if there's a small key in that first firelock chest, it's 100% the big key in cutscene. Just plain out, period.
Yep, well that will be enough for Wgarrison to make his way to the basement. Looks like he did end up powdering a anti-fairy, so he will not be able to spooky action glitch, but time save, sort of inconsequential. You have to be optimal to even get much out of it anyway, and 10 seconds at that.
Alright, so we do got, yeah, I'm going to make a note of that too, Professor Pixie. I had no clue about that.
Alright, well, some vanilla basement going on as Lumaga makes his way towards the platform maze. Crystal roller room here first. Does not need to open this at all.
No, he actually does. He does, because this lets him skip laser.
Ah, right. Key here allows him to skip laser. Needs to open this, guaranteed. Ignore the man behind the green curtain.
I mean, he could just go and get the logical key on laser bridge, but this just helps him skip.
Well, we did see Lumaga pick up an extra fairy, so he has some safety to work with. I'd be very surprised to see him hit the safety door after having grabbed that.
Alright, so we do got Wgarrison on his way over to Vitreous. If you're not used to this fight with silver arrows, blink and you'll miss it.
So which eye do you think blinks first?
I mean, the big eye is the only one who's going to have time. Oh, he missed an arrow.
Just shy of a 0 cycle, but will be good enough to get an early 1 cycle.
Like, knowing Wgarrison, I think he feels pretty good here. I know he's probably nervous sweating. But I think he probably feels pretty good. 120, about to head up towards GT. Well, he's at Skullwood still, but...
Yeah, he does need to go back down the mountain and climb back up, which is definitely something that will
He's already in Mire. He's already down the mountain.
Yeah, right. I'm looking at Turtle Rock, the Trinex fight. Lumaga will have to climb down the mountain to go to Mire and then climb back up. However, he is almost done with Trinex here and has the extra fairy as safety. He has used all the magic he needs to, had a bottle to refill even if he needed to. So in a good spot to finish up this fight. And depending on how he handles Mire, I think he's probably going to do the exact same route, really. So I think at this point for Lumaga to come back and get within striking distance, it's going to require Wgarrison to probably have to full clear GT basement.
Yeah, it would have to be something like key behind Armos Knights and Wgarrison doing like Hope into full left while Lumaga goes full right. It would have to be something like that much of a time save. Even then, I don't think that's enough of a time save to make up the like 5 minutes that they're differenced right now. Because he's just now about to flute over Meyer, and Wgarrison's already almost to the back of Skull.
Yeah, I mean, Meyer is slow, but I think executed well. I think executed well with the equipment we have. Lumaga could gain some time back on Wgarrison for how he traversed the dungeon. Like, if we have a good Meyer 2 here, you know, if he's efficient and does spooky action glitch, there's a couple of opportunities to get a little bit of time back. Well, folks, this has been an exciting race, and it's not over yet. Still some opportunity for some swings here. I will definitely say that authoritatively, Wgarrison does have an advantage in a lead. But if you're enjoying the race, definitely recommend that you check out both of these two runners at their personal Twitch channels. We'll post a command in chat, you know, to thank them for putting on such a great display for us today. This has been a really fun race to come, and I imagine for all of you, a fun race to watch.
And I got the links covered, so we got the two runners in chat. You got their links if you would like to follow them. And that was a very, very quick moth. He got right behind them and just demolished him with down slashes.
Something fun to point out about Mothula, of course, I think most people at this point probably know that the spikes share the same damage class as, you know, most, like if you knock him into the spikes, you're going to negate pretty much all damage. But trying to unstick him from the wall with the fire rod is always a good strategy, but generally when you swipe downwards from above, just because of the way he hits, you know, his hitbox, generally doesn't hit the spikes nearly as much. So it's dangerous to be above Mothula, but it is almost always a faster fight.
All right, so we are on our way to GT, so big game right here. We do want to do our GT big chesting game. There's 22 chests. Please get your numbers in once the command is started.
Yep, so of those 22 locations, where do you think that GT big key is going to be today, Karma?
I gave it 15. Usually I just pick a random number out of what's not picked.
Yeah, big same. I mean, my hope, my heart, my dreams all lie with Bob. I mean, I am a firm, devout believer in our glitched anti-fairy pixel friend. But, you know, the number 14 only kind of corresponds with old traditional routing.
And
so
2 is still open. If anybody still has a guess left, 2 is still open.
We will, of course, cut off those numbers and those guesses when Wgarrison enters GT. If Lumaga manages to make his way into GT and somehow find
no, 2. They already got 2 before I saw it. Do we have any numbers still open?
Well, I'm sure the folks in chat will be able to scroll up and read those, but we'll do our count based off of how Wgarrison does it, no matter who ends up finding it first, if Lumaga manages to get there first.
5 may not be taken yet. I'm looking for 5.
All right, last opportunity for a couple of quick last-second guesses as Wgarrison is opening up GT. Looking to close this out against Lumaga and bring Dark Side of the Triforce, our team, to the top of the division. This is exciting as a commentator and a teammate.
Oh yeah, this will bring us to, if he wins this, will take us to 5-1 in the division. We were tied going into this race with Grouchy Old Men at 4-1, and this will end up bringing them to 4-2. I think there's still a race between Cora. Oh, that is what, 1?
That is numero uno. And of course, this is basically God GT because you will get the key right next door to there. And that's all you really need to climb. Now, you do have to pick up some freestanding keys in order to finish up the climb, but that is the best case scenario for Wgarrison. That is about as good as it gets.
Congrats to Vortex of Doom for that guess on key 1.
I cannot overstate just how exciting that is as his teammate.
That means that there's almost no way he can lose time. I mean, it would take some devastating stuff in GT for him to lose this race at this point. No,
that's the thing though, is like a lot of people will underestimate GT. The thing about GT that's so, I guess, understated from our perspective as commentators in general, is just how nerve-wracking this is in a race. No matter how good or bad you are in the game, GT is not only the most complicated and you know, challenging combat of the entire game, but it's also at the most pivotal part of any race. And this is a point when you're looking at the racetime.gg race channel. You are thinking about your safeties. You're thinking about your ammo for silvers, for example. Wgarrison only having 7 arrows left. You're thinking about your magic. It's very easy to be error prone in this scenario. So Wgarrison handling it well as Lumaga takes on the last boss before GT. Let's see if he can hold it together for the rest of this race.
Yeah, I'm sure he's in his mind. He's probably just mind racing, sweaty palms. The nerves are kicking in. He's probably looking over. Is he done yet? Is he done yet?
I would say that the biggest thing for Wgarrison at this point, since he does have a wealth of safeties to work with, and he probably will powder next room, is just to don't despawn the tower, don't die.
Don't get in your own head. I think that's the big thing.
Well, he did pick up some extra silver arrows, so he will dispatch 2 of the Lamolus with them. And it looks like he's going for the 3rd shot as well.
Don't you love when you shoot your bow and no arrow comes out?
Yeah, you know, dry firing, not exactly a fun thing. You know, if you're down to 4 arrows and you continue to dry fire, you may want to consult a physician. You're going to see some Samaria strats used here for the Wiz Robes, picking up a nice, convenient little small decanter of magic, which is kind of handy if you're not trying to use your potion and take longer. You will end up using it here in this room, or you just switch to it to have it ready, I guess.
Misses the 1 cycle on Wiz Robes too, but it's fine. It's still pretty quick.
Yeah, he's got his lamp at the ready. Lumaga here, storming his way up the mountain. We'll be heading into the Dark World portal shortly. So we're looking at most of a GT climb here. It's going to take some really unfortunate stuff at the top of the tower to make this within striking distance.
A double fire, that fire bar balance, like that's scary because that can knock you into the pit. And both of them just knocked him into the torches he was heading for.
Yeah, the important thing there is to not have D-pad directions pressed in the wrong direction. Fire bars and fire bats from Ganon, for example, have a tendency to knock you in the opposite direction that you're pressing. Alright, well, no despawn glitch. So far, so good. He will have to take out this freestanding key. Not going to check anything else at this point. He has everything he needs.
Oh yeah, he has blue mail, silvers, tempered sword. He doesn't want anything. I mean, red mail would be nice, but not necessary. He's not going to waste time for it.
Alright, now Lumaga here does need to go left to have any chance of staying in contention for this. Of course, you know, anything can happen in GT, including the Aghanim fight. Wgarrison here about to cross the Moldorm 2 gap to try and lock this in. If he can get to Ganon, it's pretty much a surefire victory short of a really rough fight.
Wait. Yeah, he just realized he didn't have a key. So that's actually really good. If there was a key there, he would have went full right side, which would have put him farther behind in the tower. But he's going to go over here and see this big key and be like, whoa, glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, that's a surefire sign of, oh man, that could have gone wrong.
He even picked up the pot and everything. Is like, wait, I don't have a small key to get through tower room.
Nearly a triple.
I'm always happy with doubles. If I can get a double on Aga 2, I'm happy with it. And that looked like that could have been one of those doubles that ate one though. So it's at least a double single. It's a double double double. Okay.
Triple double. You'd think this is a basketball game. Slam dunk here at the top of the tower. Wgarrison going to make his way to the pyramid now, looking to lock in the 1-to-1 draw between these two teams this week. Really exciting conclusion to this race. However, Lumaga is still making his way up the tower. You know, provided nothing goes wrong, it'll be too much to surmount, but it's all up to Wgarrison now, and here's his Ganon fight.
So Temper Ganon, he's 12 swings in phase 1 and 2, and then he'll need 4 arrow shots in phase 4. Well, also the 4 hits in phase 3, but we never really count those because it's always 4 hits.
Wgarrison not trying to worry about a 1+1 cycle. This may be a sign of the confidence you were talking about before, where he's not too worried about his position based on the seed. He does have that theory.
I don't like him just running into the items there. He could have dodged a little bit, but...
I do think this might be either confidence or nerves. It's one or the other. There's no in-between.
I know he's been struggling with Ganon lately, so I know he's gonna. I wish he would just take it a little more patient. His falls and stuff on Ganon have been a little bit uncharacteristic.
Well, I believe that's the thing he's practiced most today. We were talking with him before the race earlier in the day, and he was definitely focused on his last couple phases.
Alright, misses the first hit of phase 3, so he will get an extra teleport.
That is a bit safer as we see Lumaga heading over to Lammolis 2.
I mean, if you guys want the best line of this game so far, the uncle with the very, very opening said this seed is the worst.
Well, there's the fire bat, and thankfully for Wgarrison, he doesn't hold a different direction, so that does allow him to prevent himself from having a risk of falling there. 2 more arrows will do it.
And this is where he usually gets into trouble. He did get to see where he was going, so no trouble this time. 1 more arrow, and Ganon has been skewered. So as soon as he crosses this little 1x3 bridge, we'll give you the official time for Wgarrison. You can do the honors. As long as he doesn't fall off this bridge.
Yeah, and thankfully with the cutscene the way it was and where he was positioned, not a problem. So Wgarrison will cross into the Triforce room, get your GGs into chat for an official racetime.gg time of, I gotta scroll up, they talked, of 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 49 seconds. Looks like he had his hand on the done in race time at the same time as his timer actually matches up with that. Well, that was exciting. We'll see if we can get Wgarrison in for an interview. Geez, the entire dark side of the Triforce in one call, one commentary.
We do get to see Lumaga though finish up, so we do want to watch Lumaga and pay attention to how he finishes up the GT because he is running still really well. Just a couple unfortunate gambles and guesses.
Yeah, I would say that this was a hotly contended race the entire way through. The unfortunate, swamp, that was really, I think, the big separation here.
Yeah, that bell out of swamp was, I think, what won him. Because it's literally, I think it's going to be the difference in the T-Rock time. I think that, what we say, 4 to 5 minutes, I think is going to be the difference.
Yeah, definitely. But, I mean, you know my catchphrase when it comes to these pendant dungeons, right?
Actually, I don't know if I've heard it yet. Oh, and we got to fall to Mordorn 2. Mordorn 2 being a bully.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but when it comes to pendants, I mean, here on the dark side of the Triforce, I hear that fear leads to pendants, and pendants leads to pedestal, and pedestal leads to nothing, and nothing leads to suffering.
But we do have cookies. Dark side of the Triforce, 100% cookie friendly.
Yep. Alright, that was the one gloat I was going to throw into this cast, but only because my teammate won.
I think this is a good race either way. It did come down to that swamp play. That swamp play to abandon. We'll have to talk to him about it because I wonder if he thought about staying in there. But I think that literally did all the time separation towards the end because his routing at the beginning was better, but then the mid-game routing from Lumaga was much better.
And it was really interesting to watch us, back to back because they basically traded, advantages from that routing and. I would say that there was never a point in this race where somebody looked like they had some indomitable advantage where it was just going to be, there's no coming back from it. We even saw them match up with each other several times, like high fives, baton passes, low fives, heart-to-heart conversations in caves.
Yeah, I think there was a 4-cycle Aga2. I think that was what, couldn't tell where you got the other single, but it was 2 doubles and 2 singles.
I think it was 2-1-2-2. Or 2-1-2-1. Alright, Lumaga moving on to the Ganon fight. Very well equipped for it. I think this probably is a well-rehearsed fight for Lumaga. Let's see if we can get a strong finish out of this.
Yeah, no, I know we're gonna go into a interview, but I think we do have another stream coming up at 10. So it won't be a long interview. We'll keep it short. There's a race going on. Do you remember who it's between?
I can check real quick.
But I know that's coming on this channel. So if you stick around, there will be another race right after this.
Yeah, so in just a brief 20 minutes from now, folks, on this channel, it's Mitz with Slapshot Fred up against the all Hyrulean rejects with Gaw Noria here on this channel with commentary duo of Duodeca and Logic. Also, while we have a moment here, want to thank our tracker today, Vel, for keeping us on the straight and narrow for this information. As we watch and celebrate Lumaga's Ganon fight, definitely cruising through this fight. The first two phases without a whole lot of damage. You don't get that health refill walking in here, so Lumaga, after all of that climb, really showing Ganon who's boss here. Yeah,
and also they don't get a lot of praise, and they do a lot of work. We got our restreamer and Math Girl. She restreams the majority of the Open League, so give her huge props. I think she's even back-to-back going to be restreaming the next race too.
Alrighty, well, Lumaga getting 2 arrows in for the first, or for the second warp here, and the fourth arrow near the top of the screen. Lumaga will finish up this fight, and in just a moment, we'll have him cross over the finish line.
All right, and then we got Wgarrison joining us. GG's.
GG's. Those Mitz location was terrifying. I for sure thought I found that after Lumaga. Swamp was what was left besides Spike Cave.
You did. You found him after he did.
Yeah, as it turns out.
But he went to the back and finished up. He beat the boss, so he ended up losing time going green pendant and checking the back.
Yeah, after I found Mitz, I'm like, I have Mire to do. I can't be sitting in Pendant Swamp anymore. I have Mire to do. Let me get over there and get into Mire. And of course it was Quake. Luckily I find Fire Rod there. I'm like, time to do Turtle Rock then. Plan doesn't change. It just goes up the mountain. It needs Quake up there too. Luckily Quake was up there. As soon as I saw that, like, I felt a little bit better, but that Mitz location had me terrified.
Yeah, so, and just for everybody's knowledge, the official race time for Lumaga is 1:39:47, so the literal 5 minutes that we said he was behind through T-Rock. So you were a dungeon ahead of him at the end. A complete dungeon.
Okay. Yeah, basically, I guess just finishing out Swamp. Actually, to be fair, I don't even remember where in Swamp Mitz were. Like, I have so much adrenaline. Was it in the compass chest?
You were in under the big chest.
Yeah, the compass chest. Cool. But yeah, I did a ton of practice for this game. I was terrified of facing off against Lumaga, especially knowing that if I had to come in here for an interview with my 2 teammates with a loss, that's scary. But
I mean, I had a witty line about Pendant Dungeons ready, and I did already use it because you won, so there's that.
Yeah, we were
Thieves Town? Oh, gosh.
Well, I knew you would check the first 4. I think both of you should have checked the first 4, but we were talking about it. Like, 3 items in the front, I think you were supposed to bell.
So,
yeah.
You have to remember, I did Village of Outcast really, really late. I had already done pretty much the whole rest of Dark World at that point. Like, we're talking about I had Thieves Town, I had finished Desert for Pyramid Fairy and Pyramid, and I had Swamp.
That was the big play. I thought you were going to go into Swamp first because it made more sense, and that you might have skipped Pyramid Fairy and just lost silvers for the entire thing. But you ended up going and checking it. It might have actually made a difference if you had skipped Pyramid Fairy.
Those silvers were pretty good to me. I had them for Vidi. I had them for. I mean, silvers are great.
He had them way earlier than you did.
Well, so I guess the thing to consider on that front would be, how valuable are silvers in terms of time, and I think you may have to spend more time getting stuff like, potions, say if you fight Vitreous with damage boost strats instead of, the silver arrows. I think you had a blue potion walking in there, so that was not necessarily a concern. With Tempered Sword, definitely less of a concern. But yeah, I mean, like the minute or two that you could lose on Ganon, depending on, spin strats, whether or not that affects your mentality. It was really interesting, though, Garrison, to see how many times you guys crossed paths, and literally rejoined each other's routes. It seemed as if the two of you were in each other's heads.
Yeah, Lumaga and I talked about it a little bit afterwards. Unfortunately, he had a family thing to attend, so he couldn't join the interview. But even things like we both started to go to pod without enough money for it and had to oh crap, let's go do something else real quick.
Yep. And yeah, we saw you check stun prize at that point and be like, oh, it's a heart. And then you killed a couple things. Oh, no money. But I would love to sit here on the interview more. But unfortunately, we do have another match coming up in 10 minutes. And I do want to give our restreamer time to set that match up, since it's going to have to be completely redone on the stream.
Yeah, that sounds good. Again, GG to Lumaga. He is a wonderful opponent, and and he's been an admin around. When I did the Go Mode podcast tournament, he was one of the admins there. He was super helpful. I have a lot of respect for him, and I was terrified coming in facing him.
Oh, he's definitely the sort of person who wants to see this community grow. So I have a lot of respect for Lumaga personally, and he's one of the crew mods here in this league too. So, folks, if you're interested in volunteering, definitely the sort of person to get in touch with if you want any advice, or need any questions answered. Obviously, the entire crew mod team don't just only hit up Lumaga, but he's definitely willing to help you out with any of that stuff. And and a great commentary in his own right.
Yeah, we could 100% use more restreamers if you want to see more great races. We need more restreamers because we just don't have enough restreamers, I think, to cover the amount of races we have.
There's only one math girl.
Because also realize that we're not only doing Open League, we're also restreaming the entire Invitational. So there's a lot of races to restream, a lot of races to commentate, a lot of races to track.
Well, speaking of the restream, and of course we are on a bit of an abbreviated schedule here. We have It's Mitts and the All Hyrulean Rejects coming up in about 12 or 13 minutes. Want to take a couple of seconds here to do some routine stuff. One, follow the runners, Lumaga and Wgarrison on their personal Twitch channels. We'll have another command and chat thrown out there. I do want to thank, of course, Vel for doing the tracking today, making sure that we can have our information correct, because heaven knows I forget things a lot. Karma will probably admit to the same. As commentators, it's super easy to get twisted with watching two streams, and having a tracker who's on the ball like Vel was today really helps. And of course, a big thank you to Math Girl and all the people who tuned in. So stay tuned for that match. Thank you again, GG Garrison, for your race. We'll talk probably more after this. If you're looking to see all of the action, of course, follow the ALTTPR League channel, the other channels as well, 2, 3, and 4, I believe. And then, of course, this is just the Open League. We do, of course, have the invitational schedule with another match ongoing on SG4 and a whole bunch of matches tomorrow. We'll see later in the schedule if there are more restream matches tomorrow on Open League. That's all I've got as Udai Mystic. Karma, go ahead and close us out.
I got nothing else to add, but thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody. Fun race, fun time, and enjoy the next race if you're sticking around.
Yep, stay tuned.